Last year, more than 35,000 persons were affected following flood from Phase 2 of the Akosombo Dam spillage. This year, Volta River Authority says per its planning and modeling, it is expecting high inflows of water and undertaking precautionary spilling will help prevent a recurrence of last year's emergency situation. Despite having a national simulation which involved almost all the communities and the stakeholder agencies in 2023, VRA reveals it still had challenges. The authority made it quite clear at the stakeholder engagement at Adan that the event was more about measures towards safety. Per its assessment of these areas in June 2024, Adan East, for instance, has islands which are often hit by high tides, and coupled with precautionary spill, the impact will not be much different. According to Director of Environment and Sustainable Development at Volta River Authority, Benjamin Saki, people who have extended structures into the Volta River or those living along the river will be affected minimally, as the spilled water will largely remain in its channel.
Every year, the dam gets water. That is normal. But it's the level and the volumes that matter. This year, we are looking at high inflows, and to be able to manage that, we are thinking of a precautionary spill so that once that we start that early and there are high inflows, we will not get the volumes and high outlets that we did the other time. But that does not mean that that is what is going to happen. It's a prediction, it's a model. If it happens, we are ready for it. It's also possible that it could even be more than what we are expecting. And once there's anything, the VRA will come and tell you exactly what is happening. So I just want to use this opportunity to assure you that you are safe.
Benjamin Saki admitted that last year's flood has taught VRA a lesson.
Incidentally, I think lessons learned from last year has made us aware that we need to get some structures with certain facilities and logistics that can contain the people. So VRA is working on that. When you go to the central town, we are doing that. And I'm sure we will replicate it in the various areas. There are a lot of things that we have learned from the 2023 spillage, and all that is being put into action. And one of them is why we are here, why we have expanded the scope of the engagement.
Adan East NADMO Director Ebenezer Nate says managing the flood situation last year for 9 weeks cost the Disaster Management Committee 95,000 cedis, but has so far only paid 15,000 cedis.
The evacuation process was a bit difficult, and so we will have to make sure that we get boats to be able to cross them, and then doing that we have to go and hire for 1 or 2 boats, including the one that Navy and other stakeholders have been using to do the evacuation. Now, coming to the management of the camps, that is where we face a lot of challenges, because we were getting inadequate resources as at the management process at the safe havens. And also, you know, we didn't know a lot of people would troop into the camp. So before we realized there were a lot of people in the camp. So we need to go for mattresses, chairs, canopies, and other few things that will make them comfortable at the various safe havens. And that is why we incurred such a debt.
Meanwhile, one of the stakeholders, who is a fish farmer, Kwabena Dakon, is unhappy, having lost over 480,000 cedis worth of fish, cages, feed, among other things, due to the flood, as there is no sign of compensation.
Say me can't enam any feed, any cages, I may shray about 4.8 billion.
Well, names of affected fish farmers have been compiled, but there is no positive news from authorities yet. We want government to do the needful. What's the point of paying taxes if one cannot get help from government in a situation like this? We have dependents, so we can imagine what we are going through at the moment. Fish farming creates direct and indirect jobs, so government must act as soon as possible. Joy News understands not all 10 municipalities and districts downstream will be affected in the event of precautionary spill. The following areas will experience some impact: Adan East in Greater Accra Region, Keta Municipality, North, South and Central Town and Anglonga districts in the Volta region. Kwame Yankes reports for Joy News.